You have found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, me and Pat are going to discuss and ask the question, has continuity failed the Chicago Bulls? Yes, it has. Also, the Hornets are apparently in the market for Zach LaVine. And how important is this 4-game road trip for the Chicago Bulls? We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize. And host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. Pat, man, we are in it now. Listen, we still got 67 games left.
That's
bro.
how you starting this off. We're in it.
That's how we're starting it off. We in it. We in it. Well, I wanted to say we in the ish because listen, this is a tough season for the Chicago Bulls. It's rough, bro. It's rough.
It's a horrible start to the show. Oh yeah, it was crazy.
It is what it is. So we're going to start this off by talking about the continuity. One thing that has become a buzzword around the Chicago Bulls is continuity, and I think it's time to admit the continuity has failed the Chicago Bulls. How you feeling, Pat?
I mean, listen, the continuity with these players is definitely not what you had hoped for. So I guess in that sense, yes, it has failed. I hope that does not mean that AK looks at the future and says continuity is the devil's work, because that is what you want from your team in the long run. Listen, I want a team that's been together for many years. The reason that I loved the Golden State Warriors before Draymond started choking out other men on the court was because they were always together, right? It was for the most part the same core team when you looked at it. You had even your veteran guys, right? You had Andre Iguodala, who was a part of that for so long. So, having that continuity, when you look at, right, even what was added to the Boston Celtics this year, the reason that I feel like they can go to a championship and possibly win it this year is because these guys have been together for a while, and they added pieces to the continuity that had already been there. So I hope that AK isn't scared away from continuity from this, and I don't think that he will be. I'll be real with you. I think it's really just so bad from Zach LaVine's side of things right now to where you have to look at it and say, my God, he just doesn't want to be here. There's nothing else we can do. Like, I really believe that, like, he would have let Zach go through this season pissed off.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
He'd have just been like, you mad? Get back on the court. Dribble that basketball.
You mad? Did the check clear? Get back on the court.
Get back on the court.
But no, when it comes down to it, I think continuity on this roster, it failed for a couple of different reasons. Lonzo was really important to making it all work. We never really got back to that. You then also did double down on an older roster. As far as with 2 out of your core 3 being older players. Now, I mean, theoretically, we would have had 4, right? And then Zach and Zoe would have been younger, and then DeMar and Vooch would have been the older ones in that core. But at the end of the day, it just didn't work. And there are a couple of them. We can go and spend most of the show talking about the reasons why it didn't work. But the fact of the matter, it didn't. And me and you talked about this off and on the podcast. And honestly, whatever happens with the Zach LaVine thing, I'm honestly just happy in the fact that it makes them have to try something different. Now, are we going to see it all be perfect with this Zach LaVine trade that we all think is coming? No, but I do think that you can see them set the stage for whatever the next version of this roster is going to be, and it may open them to be more active in next year's free agency probably than what they would have been as well. So the Bulls roster is going to look considerably different than what it did at the start of this season to the start of next season, whatever happens, and a series of moves happens between now and then. And hopefully we come out on the other side better than it. I mean, you've also talked, the Bulls haven't won a trade in a very long time.
Yeah,
hopefully this changes the trend of that.
Yeah, that was tough when we broke that down. The one thing, you know what I realized too, though, the one aspect of that is the Bulls didn't trade very often. Like when I started going through trades, like the trades that we would make, like they'd be we
made minor trades. We didn't try to make
traded a second round pick for like a dog, and then I shot the dog. Like that would be the trades that the Bulls would make.
Is that what you're calling Bobby Portis and Daniel Gafford? Like, which one's the dog trade in this? Like,
yes. Well, Bobby Portis just absorbed the dog. Now he's got that dog in him, and he went out there and he dominated. Yeah, I mean, But for the most part, right, like I started looking through. When you said it, I was like, we haven't won a trade in years. The Otto Porter Jr. one was definitely a loss. But as you start going through them, it's like, okay, well, like, I forgot Garpax basically didn't ever do anything during the season. Like, they'd add small things and we'd be like, oh, yay, we have Gennaro Pargo back for the 15th time. Didn't it feel like he was always on the team?
Bro,
but never
he only ended up having like 2 stints with us, but it just felt like all the time.
It felt like I feel like they signed him to a bunch of 10 days. Because it felt like there were times when he wouldn't be there and then he'd just be back all of a sudden. Like he was Javonte Green.
He was Javonte Green in that era. That's all.
He wasn't even signed. He just appeared. But no, I think that has continuity failed this version of the team, basically, to get back on topic. Yes. And I hope that it's something that AK looks at and learns a lesson from, right? Like, yes, you can go with the Denver Nuggets model of things, but maybe you don't have to go with it for everybody, for every player on the team. Maybe you can find minor changes here or there to make. Like, he made small tweaks, and I think we all were looking at it and saying, okay, but your big pieces aren't hitting. These small tweaks, in theory, make your big pieces hit, right? Like, in our mind, we were like, Javon Carter is a perfect asset to bring in for the Chicago Bulls. And, just in true Billy Donovan fashion, we barely see Javon Carter get on the floor. So there's also that aspect of it as well. It's just, it's time to move on from it. And I don't think that they'll fully blow it up, but to me, it's time to move on from 2 really big pieces in all of this. And that's Zach LaVine, because he just doesn't want to be here. And I think you need to find somebody else besides Billy Donovan, because, you can change the parts out, you can change the pieces out. And maybe I do believe that moving Zach out will get the Bulls back into a winning style of basketball, because I think because he doesn't want to be, like when your favorite, he's still a boy, right? When your favorite person at work don't want to be at work, nobody want to be at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of what's happening with the Bulls.
I feel you. The Bulls have made 20 trades since 2017. You want to go through them real quick? You think we can fit them in real quick?
I think people don't understand. Like, that's not that many, bro.
That's not that many. So
that's not a lot at all.
We traded
Go
Taj
ahead.
Gibson and Doug McDermott for Campaign, Joffrey Laverne, and Anthony Morrow.
The salary dump. I remember that.
We traded Jordan Bell to the Warriors for $3.5 million.
Are we saying salary dumps or losses though?
No. I mean, listen, Jordan Bell had that one season with the Warriors and he fell off quickly. I know people were initially trying to make this seem like a loss.
Crying for Jordan Bell.
So we traded, of course, the Jimmy Butler trade that brought Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, and Larry Markin in there.
That's a full loss now.
That's a loss. We traded Alter Majak for Quincy Pondexter. Don't even remember that trade happening.
Nothing.
We traded Nikola Mirotic for Tony Allen, Omer Ashik, and Jameer Nelson. None of those players end up playing for us.
Bro, Ashik did, right? Or did we immediately cut him?
We immediately waived.
I know we cut Tony Allen like within 30 seconds.
None of them. We traded Jameer. We turned around and traded Jameer Nelson for Willie Reed.
I don't even know who Willie Reed is. That sounds like a 1980s player that was doing cocaine in the locker room.
In February of 2018, we traded for Noah Vonleh for rights to a foreign player that never came over, but he never played for us either. We traded Timothy. Who do we trade in this one? Okay, we got Julian Stone in this, and we traded Jerry and Grant. It was a 3-team trade between us, the Charlotte Hornets, and the Orlando Magic.
I don't even think he was in the league after that trade.
Exactly.
So.
We traded Justin Holiday for Marshawn Brooks and Wayne Sheldon.
That's a loss because Justin Holiday actually still, but I think Justin Holiday was ready to go too. But
we traded a 2020 second round pick for Michael Carter Williams in 2019. That's a wash. I don't know who that pick ended up becoming. We traded.
W had a first game for us just like he did for Philly.
Exactly. We traded for Carmelo Anthony.
We almost killed him before he played a game on the court. He wanted to wear one.
We're trying to get through these. You can't keep adding in so much color to these. Trying to get through these before the end of the segment. We traded for Carmelo Anthony in 2019. He never played for the team. We traded a second round pick for Timothy Lawal Karabat or whoever. Didn't end up playing for the team. We traded Bobby Portis and Jabari Parker for Otto Porter Jr. That's a loss. We traded 3 second round picks for Thomas Satoransky. That's a loss. We traded Wendell Carter to Boots trade.
Sato had some decent time here, didn't he? Sato had a little.
I mean, I guess it's second round picks too.
Yes, I had a little time here.
And
I
then
said
after
they won
that's the
that
ones
one.
that we know. We got Nikola Vucevic. We got Troy Brown. We got Lonzo Ball. That was a sign and trade. I'm not counting that one. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hey, it's not good when you Google my man's name and he don't even pop up.
That's wild, bro. Yeah, the Bulls got to win the Zach LaVine trade. That's what it all comes down to. The Bulls got to finally win another trade. They got to win that Zach LaVine trade. But next up, we're going to be talking about the Hornets, who may be trying to get in on that Zach LaVine trade. But before we do that, we got to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is eBay Motors. Our partners at eBay Motors have teamed up with Locked On Fantasy basketball host Josh Lloyd to bring you some of the best fantasy picks each week all season long. Whether you're prepping for a daily draft or scouting for the waiver wire, every week we're going to provide you players that are guaranteed to fit your roster. So let's see who Josh picked out for us on this week's eBay's Guaranteed Fit Fantasy Picks of the Week. So on this, a Bull does show up. Alex Caruso. Pat, how do you feel about Alex Caruso being inserted into the starting lineups? What could he bring to the fantasy basketball world, considering how much he does impact winning for the Chicago Bulls?
I mean, listen, now having been forced to play in a fantasy basketball league, a lot because of all the different categories that he affects, basically. It depends on what type of league you have, whether you have a points or a category league. But, I mean, you're talking about a guy that, is having one of his better offensive seasons that we've seen from him.
Yeah, shooting 50% from three right now.
Steals, blocks, all of that, able to get after. So he's a great fantasy pickup.
Yeah, so Alex Caruso is definitely our pick here as well. We agree with Josh Lloyd on that one. Josh Lloyd from Locked On Fantasy Basketball is going to help you win your fantasy championship. And eBay Motors knows a championship team is about each player being the perfect fit. Same for your vehicle. With over 122 million parts for your ride, your number one ride or die, you can make sure that your ride stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED lights, roof rack, bumpers, whatever your baby needs. eBay Motors has it. And with the eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Plus, at these prices, you're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items, exclusions do apply.
Yeah.
All right, Pat. So the Charlotte Hornets apparently are one of the teams that are interested in getting into the Zach LaVine sweepstakes. Now, when you look at their roster, I know a lot of Bulls fans have heard this. I've already seen it. I've got some of the tweets, got some of the emails already myself, hoping that Miller can be part of this trade. I highly doubt that that's the case. When you look at, though, the Hornets being interested, how you feeling, bro?
Here's why I push back on there's no chance that Brandon Miller can be a part of this trade.
Okay.
They're in a worse situation. But remember, like the Bulls were not a free agent destination spot. And so because of guard packs and things like that, so you had to turn it back into a free agent destination spot. That's why you end up getting the trade for Nikola Vucevic, because you had to prove to Zach LaVine that we're committed to winning here. We want to win here. So if you're going to stay here, it didn't end up working out this way, but if you're going to stay here, we're going to commit. We're going to trade pieces, bring you a starting center right now who is a 20-10 guy. Then DeMar DeRozan comes over. You make the trade for Lonzo Ball, blah, blah, blah. But you had to trade to get pieces here. Why does the LaMelo Ball want to be in Charlotte? You have to prove to LaMelo Ball that you're committed to actually going out there and trying to win something right now. You've seen how it already worked with one of the Ball brothers and Zach LaVine. I mean, it literally was Zach LaVine's best
that's the point
numbers of his career.
Yeah.
No one's going to Charlotte. North Carolina is a great place. I have family in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a fun place for me to go visit when I want to do nothing but relax. They don't have Brandon Miller is either a superstar right now, or you have to make a commitment to actually getting players there that are going to be elite players. Mark Williams has kind of had a little bit of a step back in his second season. I mean, Scary Terry never was really anything down. I mean, he has nice numbers, right? But he's not winning you a lot of games. If you want to make a commitment in a small market like that to LaMelo Ball, you might have to give up on a Brandon Miller to even throw your name in the race for a player like Zach LaVine.
One thing where do you get Mark Williams has had a step back? The dude's averaging 13 and 10 on 70% shooting from the field.
That defense ain't looking the same.
The defense. Okay.
Yeah, that defense ain't looking the same. I just think Mark Williams get cooked a couple times.
I mean, it is.
I was like, hey, Mark Williams was he a block and a half last year or something like that? What was Mark Williams last year?
Mark Williams last year was 1 block per game. He's at 0.8, so it's not too much of a difference.
That's not that bad. I guess he's getting it back up.
He'll get back in rhythm.
I've tuned in for a ton. I've seen 2 Charlotte Hornets games. He looked bad defensively in both of them.
I mean, so if you look at the contracts, right? So we know that they're going to try to either, especially if it's Brandon Miller that they're putting in this, they're going to try to dump either Scary Terry or Gordon Hayward on us in the trade.
Scary Terry.
So that's that and Brandon Miller pretty much gets you most of the way there. They probably also would have to throw in. Man, I'm just trying to look at things that match. Maybe Miles Bridges will get them there too with that package, but we're probably not going to entertain that. Cody Martin.
I wouldn't be mad at a Cody Martin. I saw a package that was like, one of their like down the
just
line
looking at packages.
Oh, Jesus, that's crazy. Yeah, you get me with that one every time. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Every time.
Because it's tough because the trade package don't pop in my mind first, which might also be a problem that only package pops in my mind first. That could also be an issue. But no, I saw a trade package where it was Scary Terry, Brandon Miller, Mark Williams, and like a 2029 first round pick, basically saying we're all in on you winning right now. I'd be interested in, because you would think, right, Charlotte is going to have to give up more because you're sitting.
We'd be in a position we'd be on the other side of the Vooch deal, basically in this scenario is what you're saying.
Because we're sending you a piece where, like, listen, this is a piece that you're making a commitment to. Like, I send you him and you got LaMelo Ball. Y'all trying to win right now. That's your duo.
With Mark Williams down there at the center position, I mean, listen, I like the team on paper for the Charlotte Hornets a lot, and and here's the thing. Let me ask you this. So if they aren't offering Brandon Miller, let's say basically the same package, but instead of Brandon Miller, it's PJ Washington. Do you think will it take another additional first round pick to get you interested? Are you not interested at all? So basically, it's Brandon Miller. Don't pick up don't call us anymore.
Because I think you also have to take into account if I'm sending you Zach. Now it also depends on what kind of player you think Zach LaVine is. But I think if I send you Zach LaVine as your number 2, right? LaMelo's still the number 1. I send you Zach LaVine as your number 2. You're gonna win. So if you're winning, it's still Charlotte. Could be a lot of losses there. I mean, don't they still got what's his name coaching them? Ain't it still Steve?
No, he's not the coach of them anymore, is he?
Man, they bring him back every 30 days, basically. Like, that's how Jordan does it.
They keep renewing the free trial with the different email.
I mean, he liked the disc that used to come in the McDonald's packet back in the day, bro. You just like you order Taco Bell and you get
their coach. That's
Steve
crazy.
Clifford, bro. Gross.
That's wild, bro.
I mean, like, ew. Like, but I think that, to me, that's the conversation they have to have if they're going to make a commitment to winning, and more importantly, if you're going to make a commitment to keeping LaMelo long term.
See, I think they'd be crazy to include Brandon Miller for Zach LaVine, but hey, I mean, maybe you're right, and if you are right, I'd say that, at least on paper, at least initially, would look like a win for the Chicago. If you get that much younger with a promising player like Brandon Miller and what he could be, I know he's shown some flashes this season, hasn't been really consistent, but if you can get that back, I can't be mad at that deal. I doubt the ability to, but I'd love to be wrong in that case.
I guess the question falls to, when do they want to win? And can they keep everybody there for that timeline? Because when's the last time Charlotte was competitive?
Well, see, and that may be the reason why
I don't even remember a year. Well, I guess that one, the first year
made the playoffs.
The first year we all got together, they made the play in, right?
Oh, was that what it was? I don't know, man. Listen, the way that I look at it is that the Charlotte Hornets, I don't think would be willing to give up on Brandon Miller, but I do think they can still put together an interesting trade package, only because they own all their own first round picks after 2025. San Antonio Spurs also have protections on their picks, like they do ours.
Everybody picks,
bro. The Spurs got picks, bro. The Spurs got picks. It's crazy.
Pop said, yeah, I thought I was losing it. I got everybody picked. You want to draft, it goes through me.
Y'all be playing basketball at the bottom of Pelican Bay.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, I mean, listen, there's definitely there's a couple of different ways and options they can include deals. There's players that I just worry. My worst case scenario in this is that the Bulls will take 3 first-round picks or 2 first-round picks back from the Charlotte Hornets just because they're Charlotte and they bet they're gonna keep losing, and then we end up taking Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier back, and next thing you know, the Charlotte Hornets are in the Eastern Conference Finals, and
that's why I say you can't. To me, whoever I send Zach LaVine to, I have to take in what he adds to the team. And you're going to get an inspired Zach LaVine back. Like, I know everybody's like, oh, he's playing bad right now. He don't want to be here, right? This is what guys do when they don't want to show up to their job, and they got to. At least he's still showing up to work. He's not James Harden in us. He don't want to be here. He's playing like he don't want to be here.
Zach LaVine shows up in a fat suit, I will die laughing on this podcast.
Oh, my God. We need it. Like, just show up in the fat suit. Like, still play. Like, take the suit off, but just
imagine how many clicks that would get on the thumbnail?
Everybody.
That's crazy, bro.
Hey, bro, just to scare everybody.
Yeah,
hey, oh, no, he's Harden. And he's like, no, I'm just playing. Hey, trade me that. Trade me. Give me that guy out of here. Hey, man, before we get into this final topic where we are going to break down how important this road trip is, I mean, listen, the Bulls just won one game of their homestand, so it's a pretty important road trip coming up here. We got to tell you guys about FanDuel. Score early and often this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. Looking ahead at this next game, listen, the Bulls are a +7 in this game. If you're betting the Bulls anything but to lose or betting all the unders, then you should not be betting the Bulls. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. Bet all your unders, and you probably will win. Halftime unders, they got to have adjusted those, bro. Like the halftime unders got to be at like 40 points at this point.
Bro,
like,
somebody made millions of dollars on the Bulls first half unders so far this season.
Oh, bro, you had to. You had to. Like 33 points twice, back-to-back games. Orlando did nothing. Anyway, I'm spiraling here. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL.
All right, last topic of the day, Pat. The Bulls start their 4-game road stretch with the OKC Thunder coming up tonight. This is a team that's 10-4. Start off the season. They made us get to a players only meeting after one game in the season, and we're facing this team again as the team is in absolute and utter turmoil. Yeah, I don't see this ending pretty for the Chicago Bulls, bro. I don't.
I mean, in theory, right? The Bulls technically, in my opinion, could go 2-2 over this next stretch, which would be a step in the right direction.
Got the winning? Brooklyn.
I can see Brooklyn and the Raptors. We always the Raptors are just Canadian us.
True, but keep in mind, I think our last 3 matchups against the Raptors take away that play-in game they've won.
Didn't we just beat them?
Did we beat them? Oh, we did beat them. That was the second game of the season. We beat them in OT.
Didn't we just beat them?
So you're right on that one.
They got you in PTSD mode right now,
listen, bro. I mean, listen, I'm not even going front. Yes.
Fight it, dog. Fight it.
Fight back.
Fight back. Hey, listen, we don't fight back around here. We just accept it is what it is at this point. No, but I mean, like, so you kind of feel good about it. But this start off here against the Oklahoma City Thunder, I mean, this is the game that it felt like you were going to start spiraling. This is the game that sparked the conversation. It beat you 124 to 104. You had a solid first quarter and just like with everything with the Bulls, right? The very beginning was like, oh, okay, look at this Bulls team. And immediately after that, nothing went our way. Somebody had to say something to Shea, because after that, he decided to just go off and cook us. The Bulls never basically got back into the game from that point on. And then it was like, this is a young Thunder team that is playing really, really well to start this season. And I think that they have gained a ton of confidence, especially a guy like Chet Holmgren, who has just been, I mean, like, listen, I don't know if you saw after Chet hit the game winner, and yeah, apparently Chet's a pretty quiet guy, but he was just like, "Hey, this is mine. And there's like a shot of Shay's face in the background, just like, who's this guy? Who's this white guy that's very hype right now? Yeah, I like this guy. So you see them gaining their confidence. Doesn't leave you feeling good as a Bulls fan heading into this game, especially heading into OKC. You would hope that the Chicago Bulls would have some fight in them, but we haven't seen fight in the Chicago Bulls for many of the games this season. So I think barring the Bulls making a decision on, hey, listen, Zach, just wait till we call you for a trade. This is the uninspired basketball you're going to see from this team, and I expect a loss to start this off. And I don't know, maybe we get our first back-to-back. I think Raptors, Brooklyn. Maybe we get our first back-to-back wins of the season.
Listen, you're very hopeful, and I love it when you're hopeful, Pat. But I'm looking at this and I'm saying that this
0-4, baby.
Hey, listen, if we lose every game on this home stretch, that would make us like 1-9 in the last 10. Like it's tough go, bro. Like the only game I have is winning on this road stretch is Brooklyn.
You don't think we could beat the Raptors?
I think we can, but we already beat them once. I just don't like the Bulls. I can't get right. They can't ever do two things right at the same time.
Neither can the Raptors, though. I think that's we on common ground with that one.
I hope that they can. I know that we have the capability of beating them, but right now, with how this team's playing, I trust nothing.
Raptors is 6-8.
It's closer to 500 than we are.
Not by much, though. Yeah,
not by much.
That's one of them things where it's like, I mean, listen, we're arguing, can we beat the Raptors? That tells you how bad we are. Right now. Yeah, I mean, like, you don't think we can beat the Raptors? Like, nah, who cares?
67 games left, bro. 67 games left.
67 games left. Let's hope there's a major change after the trade deadline or the trade. I don't know. I'm broken. Listen, hey man, follow us. We done? We
done. Go ahead.
I don't know. How important is this next road trip? I think is massively important.
Yeah, I mean it is. This is going to be the stretch where, let me not say it all hinges on this because I don't want to make it that dramatic, because it doesn't, because the Bulls are going to suck before and after this road trip. But I think it comes down to just this, is that the Bulls need to show a little bit of fight on the road. They didn't show it at home. You had a long road stretch. You were at home for basically 2 weeks, and you got one win out of it.
Maybe this will be our thing this year. Or was this our thing last year? Were we good at home and bad on the road last year? I don't remember. Usually the Bulls have a theme. Maybe our thing this year is we're going to be trash at home the entire season, and we're going to be really good on the road.
Let's hope so, bro.
Let's hope so, man. I don't know. This is a stretch where, like, I mean, if you find a way to beat the Thunder, we usually compete okay with the South. We actually compete pretty well. Well, not with Drew Holiday. I don't know. By the way, Drew Holiday, how's your face, brother? That was crazy.
That was wild.
That was insane.
That was crazy.
Bro. He slid like Chris Brown at the in whatever that. What was the dance movie? I can't even think of it. Was that Stomp the Yard? Was that Stomp the Yard?
Was it Stomp the Yard?
Where he died immediately, but he was all in the trailer back in the day?
Yeah, that was
Stomp the Yard. Yeah, crazy. You may Drew? Why did y'all do that to Drew? Drew had a family. He lost 6 dreads on that.
Bro, end the show. Get out of here, bro.
It's crazy, dog. Hey, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. You can follow Drew Holiday at the floor.
You can follow me at CEO Haize. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. We'll be back after the game, going live to break that down. Hopefully we'll get to talk about a Bulls dub. Let's pray that we do. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. It's been Locked On Bulls, and we out. Peace, y'all.
Peace. We did not deserve to get crossed. That was crazy.